They listen somewhat, slightly, or at least entertain other ideas. Those people on the left that I can deal with. Not a lot of them left. They're dwindling, one by one. Most of them now are hardcore commies that really have no business in a free democratic society, republic like the United States. But because we are a free republic, they can express their stupid, idiotic ideas as well. But anyway, I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in a free republic, a non-tax to death. I do not believe in property taxes. I do not believe in payroll taxes, especially because the U.S. government is a combination of the people. It is we the people, by the people. So no government entity has the right to tax me. The government of the United States of America, all capital letters, is supposed to be, and it's militia, it's military, is supposed to be paid for by tariffs, which we're, thanks to Trump, we're now, we're, charging China for their import finally, and other countries. But I do not believe in free trade. They should pay us, and we should pay them. We should have goods that other countries want, and they have goods that we want. So let's, pay tariffs to help each other out. But anyway, I don't believe in payroll taxes, just so we understand each other. And I don't believe in property tax. Will somebody needs to pay for the roads? Well, you already pay that in your gas here in the United States. We're taxed on top of the cost of fuel, which admittedly in the United States is cheap. We're taxed, depending on the state, it could be $1 a gallon or more. If you're out in California, for the roads, so you don't need property taxes for that. And you might say that you need, and really this post or this video is not meant to be about taxes, but I have a tendency to get on a soapbox, and I really don't like paying property tax because that's once a year chunk. I live in a city, so I get taxed twice. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about this morning is the insanity of it's the white BLM people. I'll just say it like that. Black Lives Matter, in a lot of ways it is its own hate group, right? Because they are acting, a lot of these people, that they're superior to others and they matter more than anybody else. But there's a lot of people that are in this because they care, right? Or they lies, blah, blah. And I'm not hating on black people. But those are local activists, and I won't say his name because I have privately called him out. But this guy that held a vigil in the local town last night, and those of you on Facebook know what I'm talking about, posted about it. About the guy, Mr. Jacobs, that was shot 7 times in the back. For his kids. The vigil was for his kids who are traumatized, and no doubt that their dad was shot in the back. Okay, the guy was not a good guy. Charged with had a warrant for sexual assault. Bad guy. Whether it was a true charge or not, women they some occasionally have a tendency to say things just to get men in trouble and laugh about it. Not saying they all do that, and it's a shame that some do. One bad apple ruins the egg. The bunch. One bad egg ruins. But the guy that held the vigil, he's a local Black Lives Matter activist. He just, and I'm going to write what he wrote back to me because that's the hilarious part, right? That is the entertaining. I'll tell you what I wrote. and then I'm going to tell you what they wrote back, and they will continue this all day long. It doesn't bother me. I love it. It's entertainment for me, uh, but it is serious business. This activist, that Black Lives Matter leader, local, and I won't recite his name because it's going out all over the world live, and I don't think that's necessarily fair for him because uh, but locally I will call him out. So anyway, they held joined some Irish breakfast tea this morning. They held a local visual, uh, and for the children, and I kind of get that. The children were no doubt traumatized, but the man's still alive. He'll still be there for his kids. He can still be involved in their lives. Yeah, he's paralyzed, but he's still alive, which is, you know, a pretty bad guy, and grabbed a weapon when they told him not to go back to the car. So, he got what he deserved. Sexual assault's a bad thing, in my opinion. I don't know about all these lefty women that left me comments, lefty white women, I should say. But I will tell you what I wrote. That not one to cast stones, and I'm not. But that was leaving something in there for them to say, and I knew that. I know what they're going to say before they say it, because I've been doing this a long time. Long before the 2016 election, I was arguing with these. I know what they're going to say before they say it, and I said, I'm not one to cast stones. However, blank, Mr. Blank, the local guy, photographed in this article and leader of this vigil, caused his own kids trauma and was convicted in 2017 of criminal domestic violence, assault, and endangering minors, his children, because he ran from the law. Now, this is the guy that's holding this vigil and saying that police are horrible, blah, blah, blah. He ran from the law. He beat up his wife in front of his kids, or knocked her down several times. I wasn't there. But this is what happened in June of 2017. Beat her up and then ran from the law with the kids in the car. Okay? Ran from the law with the kids in the car. Caused them drama. So he shouldn't be saying anything to anyone. That's why I didn't want to say his name. So I said, if you really want to make a difference, stop domestic violence, okay? Stop child abuse, in all caps. Stop sex trafficking, and stop, in all caps, the mass murder of innocent babies, i.e. abortion. So for that, I got hate mail. Hateful comments in reply. So the first one is a lady. I'm not going to say her name. and I expect this stuff, so it doesn't bother me. It says, you say you're not one to cast stones, yet you're doing a hell of a job, but you didn't spell it out, just call smash. Hell of a good job of it. Anything this guy did previously can't justify being shot 7 times in the back. A nice try. Okay, he is referring to Mr. Jacobs. I'm referring to the guy that held the vigil, that ran from the law with his kids in the car and beat his wife up. Okay, so I said her name, and then Mr. Blank, whom I'm referring to in my comment, is a local activist area, so I would know that in regards to Mr. Jacobs, the guy that sexually assaulted a woman and went back to his car and grabbed a weapon, attacked the law. He sexually assaulted a woman and went back to his car after being asked not to do so several times, grabbed his weapon. Sexually assaulting a woman deserves being shot in the back 7 times. That's my own personal moral opinion, right? It's not the law, but that's my moral opinion. You're going to sexually assault a woman, I'm fine with being shot 7, you should be shot 7 times in the back. I have no issue with that. So then, Another woman, another lefty, says Jefferson Davis looks like the penalty for sexual assaulting someone is 20 years in prison, not 7 shots in the back, FYI. So she's defending, okay, another lefty woman. A lefty woman is defending sexual assault. Do you understand the insanity here? So a woman is defending a man for sexually assaulting another woman. Do you comprehend the insanity of the left? So me, a guy, I don't believe beating women or assaulting women is a good thing. It's bad. And I've never done it. Hand to God. I might have drove women a little crazy, but I don't now, nor ever have I ever beat a woman. It's any man that does that is not a man. He's a boy. He should be whooped, beat. You know, if he does a bad thing like sexual assault, should be killed. Like pedophiles, they should be taken out back, and once they're convicted by their peers of pedophilia or harming a child, then they should be, put out behind the courthouse and have a firing squad, which I would gladly join, and kill them pieces of garbage. But this woman is defending a man who was charged with sexual assault, saying he doesn't deserve to be shot 7 times in the back. Okay, that's negotiable, but she's saying that, he deserves 20 years. So she is, by her own admission, a woman is defending a man for sexually assaulting another woman. The insanity of these people is nuts. It is absolutely crazy. And they do it to themselves. They make themselves look stupid. She could have worded it differently. She could have said any, in a lot of different ways. And then the original woman, I never personally attacked people. I didn't personally attack the other lady. I don't. First rule of debating is never get personal. Debate the issues, attack the issues, but never attack the person that's debating you about an issue. Never ever. I mean, I went to college, and not to say these other people didn't. Not to say it makes me better or smarter than other people, because it doesn't. But also was not really lucky, but I had learning disabilities, so my family worked really hard to send me to a private school where I could get tutoring and get better care. Because back in the day, old as I am, there was really not a lot of help for people with disabilities. So my family worked hard and paid a lot of money for me to go to private school, be tutored and helped. If I would have continued in public school, I would not have the education that I have today. Understand things the way I understand them today, and be able to study and comprehend things the way I do. And I'm not a genius by any stretch, but I do very well for having the disabilities I had growing up. Anyway, so the original woman here that first got personal and said that, for someone that's not, supposed to be casting stones, you're sure doing a hell of a job. She comes back and she says, get back on your meds and stop promoting violence. So that's not the craziest comment, and I'm sure that there will be more, no doubt. But I never personally attacked a woman, and I never in any way, shape, or form promoted violence. I make sure I don't do that. Know the guidelines of all the different social medias, and I'm not one to promote violence. I'd rather talk it out. I'm older and wiser, and I don't believe in. I believe that we can. I mean, there's a lot of debate about this, especially with all the hardline people on the extreme left and some people on the right as well. That there's no hope here, going to turn to violence. I hope not, people, because we don't want a civil war. Trust me, you don't want that. Those of us that are on And I'm not I'm not on any mental medication. Not to say that I'm not getting into that debate, but people that are on medication that they have to live, let's say diabetes, have to have shots. I don't have diabetes, but I'm just saying, I young man that works for me, and he's perfectly healthy, skinny guy, but he's got type 2 diabetes, I believe, just the one that you get hereditary, and he has to take his medication, and he has to eat right. And if we were if we were to have a civil war, internal war, medicine would be the first thing to disappear, and a lot of people would die to have stuff like diabetes, have problems like that could be fatal if you don't get your medication. So, for that fact alone, we don't want a civil war. It may come to that at some point. I hope not. I would rather talk to you guys, talk to people, and try to come to a moral and where both parties are happy. Uh, but we don't want a civil war. Horrible the first time around here in the United States. Brothers killing brothers, cousins. Horrible. And nobody likes to talk about all the quote unquote white people that were killed on both sides. Or, just one to stop slavery and one to keep it. So bad. But anyway, I just find it it's sad in a lot of ways. But it's also hilarious the extremities that people will go to make their point. I mean, this one woman here, last name's Catherine. Uh, looks like the penalty's 20 years, not being shot in the back 7 years. So she, by her own admission, publicly, is defending this guy, saying, "Hey, the guy was a creep. Sexually assaulted this woman, which supposedly the attorney general, due to public pressure, has dropped the charges." Okay, this is the United States of America. That's nothing. So let me say, for example, that there's a local pedophile, right, that harms kids, and he gets charged and he's convicted, but he gets off, probation or something. I go out here and I, take the guy out, or somebody else does. So, it's not an eye for an eye society, right? We have laws, and we don't always agree with them, right? But murdering a pedophile that's not trying to murder you or murder your family, uh, it may be morally okay. I believe me, I'm all for the firing line, but we got to have that written into the law to kill these SOBs when they do this stuff. But it's not in the law right now. So I would, this person would go to jail for killing the pedophile, right? Because they, planned, premeditated, and murdered the pedophile. And let's say we had public pressure. Well, we got to let him out because he took out a pedophile. Well, okay, I get it. I'm all for it. But the deal is, it's not written into the law, and you can't change things. This guy legitimately was charged with sexual assault and other charges and had a long record. You have to go through the same process as everybody else. Public pressure should not ever change the way the law works. The law has to be blind. If you went out and what's happened, and you arrested black people based on just them being black, then obviously that's wrong. If you let somebody go because Black Lives Matter is threatening the city, or Antifa or whoever, then it's just as wrong. That's like voting for Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. based on him being half African. That is racist and wrong. Voting for Trump because he is white and of German descent is wrong. Doing things based on issues, doing things based on logic is what will help this country and what will make it continue and be the greatest country we can ever be. Doing things based on emotions, and that you're stirred with by the media on a daily basis, is what will send us down the road to you know not being a country anymore, not being a republic. So use your head, not always your heart, because people like to talk about, and especially the left, love to pull those little heartstrings. And I'm not saying don't have a heart, but the animal kingdom is full of emotional animals. I mean, all the animals, monkeys get emotional. They get emotional and kill each other, right? But we have logic and a heart and a soul. And we don't do that. We're not supposed to. So, really don't have a point to this, but what I'm trying to say is use your brains, get both sides of the story, read more than one headline, read articles to the end, because usually the end of it, they will tell you the truth, right? But they'll come up with this crazy headline. Man shot by white cop. Okay, well, read the whole thing. We had in our state a deal recently where, in the past week, where a black guy shot a young white woman and her stepdad for no reason. It was a traffic deal, and the guy was at fault, but he got mad and shot him. But you'll never see that on CNN because it was black guy, white people. Cops are a lot less likely to kill black. Black people kill more black people than anyone. Okay, but the biggest thing to help black people, and I said this recently, I am I'm American 1,000%. Love my country. But as far as ancestry and genetics and all that, I am Irish, Native American, and Jewish of those descents. So Ashkenazis still Jewish. Um, so those are three of the worst treated groups of people who have ever lived on this planet. So, and I am well aware of the history of all three. And I am well aware that, I may be technically a white man, and I'm not running from that or my European descent. And I am very proud of all my ancestors and the struggles they went through. And some of those not so long ago. And I'm well aware of the atrocities that, look, every group of people on this planet have been enslaved by another at some point. Every group. White, black, yellow, purple, green. Every group of people have been enslaved by another at some point. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate what happened in the United States a very long time ago. It's unfortunate that black people didn't have the right to vote, especially in the South. 65 Voting Rights Act. These things are very much unfortunate, and it is a hot stain on America. But America's free. People can do what they want. They can vote for whoever they want. If you want to vote for Sleepy Joe, then you go right ahead. Get informed. Whichever guy you want to vote for, get informed and know everything you can about him before you vote for him. That's all I ask. Don't let CNN or Fox News sway you either way. Do your own digging. You can listen to me, and I'll do some digging because I don't outside of work, and I will be on here a lot more in the coming weeks and upcoming to the election. the biggest thing, and I learned that this week, and is to not be stressed. Don't stress the small stuff in life, because I was told last week that I didn't tell family this for obvious reasons at the time, but I was having some health issues, and the doctor said, well, worst case scenario, you got a brain tumor. Okay, that's a little scary. Like, okay, okay. But he said, maybe blood clots. Well, kind of find out it's none of that. It's something else totally different, and may have problems later on, but I'm not worried about it. Not today. Not going to keel over, and I'm very grateful to the Lord above for that. So I'm trying to change my perspective on life and not get so upset and laugh at idiots that defend sexual assault. People charged with it. It's sad that they're like that, but I'm not going to get mad anymore about it. I'm going to laugh and move on, and that's what I'm asking you to do. Don't let people like that get under your skin. Laugh and move on. So there's a lot of issues that I will be talking about, and I'm probably going to get kicked off of YouTube, which is fun. Don't really care. And I do like to play games on occasion, video games. Not a gamer, but I do like to play. I used to be a long time ago. I am a nerd, so every once in a while I have to get gaming in, but I also believe in going to the gym, working hard, working on the house. So I'm busy, stay busy, and try to put my best foot forward in life. All should do. And sitting around playing video games is not putting your best foot in life in general is much more entertaining than a video game. So get out and live life and love life and pretend that today is your last day. So what are you going to do? But the things that I want to discuss, and I will be finding sources, everything discuss henceforth, unless it's something that's personal, right? And I won't be getting too personal, but some issue that's touching me personally. May get on here late at night or early in the morning. But the issues that I will be discussing, one that I talked about in this comment is abortion. I'm a libertarian. I believe in freedom above all else. My own family's history is striving to shed blood, sweat, tears, lives, necks, their everything for freedom. So it's hard for me to be. It's not hard for me to be anti-abortion, but it's hard for me to be government anti-abortion. First of all, I don't think government of any sort has any right being in your pants at all or in your home. Government should be small and insignificant. It should have a sizable effective military, not enormous, but enough to protect the country from outside forces, and occasionally, rarely, internal forces like domestic terrorists, that sort of thing, like Antifa, potentially BLM if they continue with it violently. But I don't like telling other people what to do. I ask you that to look into abortion and how horrible it is, and that it is, whether you agree with me or not, and you have a right to your opinion. It is murder. Period. I'm not a perfect Christian. I'm not the greatest Christian. I don't go around with my Bible continuously. I don't preach to people. I'll talk about it from time to time and try to live a good life. I'm not perfect. I am not saying I am by any stretch. But as a Christian, a God, Jesus believing Christian, I cannot, will not ever support abortion or any politician or anyone that supports it. And the very fact these Black Lives Matter people like to go around and talk about how hard cops are, and believe me, there's some bad cops. They're not all bad, but they never, ever, ever say anything about abortion. And there have been estimated 25, 30 million little black babies aborted in this country since Roe v. Wade. That's on the lower to middle end of the spectrum. Could be much higher because the whole state of California doesn't report abortion statistics to the CDC. Washington, D.C. does not report. Manhattan, the city, the 5 boroughs, does not report abortion statistics. It is horrendous, the amount of human beings that have had their life extinguished, that have heartbeats, that have fingerprints and souls and lives, but their only sin to this world is existing. They're innocent of all charges, but they don't have a lawyer except for me and others that speak out. They don't have anybody to represent them. They don't have a voice except for the few of us that do speak out. There are people. It's growing, and I talk to people every day, pretty much. I'm a member of many groups and do my best to help. I'm not some kind of extremist that goes around showing the horrible images of aborted babies, but I try to talk about it on a human level. Try to get down to people. And there's a lot of people that have been told a lot of lies. They have heartbeats. They have fingerprints. They have fingerprints and can be charged for a crime, but they themselves cannot be represented. They do not have a right to a lawyer. They do not have a right to a jury. They can just be murdered without any hesitation, without any conscience from the mother or the father. Either one. Well, I'm going to go, murder another child today. And I don't think that's the attitude of every woman that does that. But I don't believe in it. I don't believe that 2 wrongs make a right. And now it's getting worse in a lot of ways because hospitals now, especially if you're on Medicaid, government assistance here in the United States, and government insurance for people that are impoverished or poor, and I'm not rich or even middle class. People, that either don't work, have enough money, blah, blah, blah. And it's a lot of minorities that are on Medicaid, and plenty of white people as well. But they would go to the doctor, to the hospital, and get their check, and they have tests now, and they'll say, well, your baby, even if the mother wants to have a child, the baby will have, some kind of abnormality or something, so you need to just go ahead and abort it, right? So because they're doctors, and because we've been raised to believe in science, and I'm not knocking science. Love science, is great. Because we've been raised to believe these people. They're human beings, right? But they have their own agenda. This population, not the doctors themselves, but people that run these hospitals, people within the government, there is an agenda for population control. And one of the great ways to do that is to abort all these babies, right? Because they know what the population can be without overextending the amount of food that this country can produce. Government knows all this. You people have not to insult your intelligence. Government knows how many people that live here, illegal aliens and the rest of us without straining the food supply, right? And it's getting pretty strained. So they're doing everything they can, uh, the media and people within the government to control the population. That's including there's as I could spend hours talking about this, but so the doctors are told that by their superior that if the baby if there's any possibility of genetic mutation or abnormality, tell the parents to abort it. And a lot of these parents, even if they have money, but especially if they're on Medicaid, they'll tell them you need to abort this child. It's going to have spina bifida, whatever. They'll do it. But here's the deal. Here's what I want to say about it. I had a friend of mine that, as I said, I had disabilities of my own, but we were in a learning disability class, second grade. He was 4 years older than me. He had really bad seizures. I'm trying to remember the name of the disease that he had. But he would have, just random seizures, and he had, mental problems. He was really sharp with numbers, but he had communication issues. He was married twice. He was a normal guy, but he had communication problems, and because he had this disease, people treated him differently. And he did have some, facial. You could tell that there was something wrong with him. But we were friends from second grade. He was 4 years older than me, but because we're in disability classes, they grouped us all together. And he was a big guy, but he had, I'll remember the name of it in a minute, probably when I go off. He had this learning disabilities, but he was really good with numbers. The guy could, oh my God, calculate numbers like nobody's crazy. He was like Rain Man. I mean, he was really a lot like Rain Man. He didn't have a lot of social capabilities, other than being married twice, obviously capabilities, but he was my best friend for um, 30 years, um, 78 to 2001, 23 years of my life. And he was the greatest friend and one of the greatest people I ever knew. This guy would do anything, jump over anything, do anything in the world for me or for anybody. And he was a light upon this world. I was so blessed to know him and to spend time with him and to learn things from him. And he always protected me. I was a little squirt, and he always, kept me safe. Never let me get home by anyone or anything. He was a giant among men. Been thinking about writing a book about him, but had his parents aborted him, I never would have known him. I never would have understood what people like that have to go through, and the people made fun of him because he had communication problems. And I look normal. I'm a little squirt, but I look normal, right? So people don't give me a lot of trouble. Plus, I don't take any crap either. So that happens. But I look pretty normal guy, But you could tell there was stuff wrong with him, and people made fun of him. He didn't take a lot of crap either, but he tried to be friends with people that even made fun of him, right? So he was just that type of guy. And had I never met him, I never would have known how to deal with people like that. Never would have. I mean, the world would have been totally different to me. My perspective on life would have been totally different if I'd never met the giant among men. He was incredibly tall, big guy, could run like a bullet, but incredibly funny too. But I never would have been blessed with knowing him for all these years, all those years. And he had an aneurysm and just fell over dead one day. But and again, I can't remember what he had, but I'll remember when he talked here. He was like Rain Man, but he didn't look necessarily normal. But he had the same kind of social interaction issues. Plus, he had random seizures that were really bad. He was all over. He was dead, and then 2 minutes later, you start back up the same conversation with crazy. But I wouldn't be the man I am today had I not known him. And here's the kicker. This is what I want to say. They didn't know, that he was going to have issues. But when his parents found out that he was going to have, when he was born, that he was going to have issues, they were young and they couldn't take care of him like they needed to. So they put him up for adoption. So his adoptive parents are the only parents he ever knew. And for years, I thought that was his mom and dad because, he didn't know until he was a teenager. They didn't tell him he was adopted. And, he went through a little bit of a rebellious period, but he was really grateful that they had a biological son in him. And they treated him both the same, and they loved him just as much as they did their biological son. But had he been aborted, I never would have met him. They never would have met him. He never would have been a blessing. So many people, including his 2 ex-wives. He loved them both, but people have issues. And he's like me, or he was like me. We both had really bad taste in women. I mean, I think I had bad luck. Let's put it that way. We had the same bad luck. But had I not met the man, I wouldn't have the outlook I have on. I would possibly have when I would see a disabled person or somebody with an issue, oh, there's one of them. But no, I'll go up and talk to them. How you doing? On the day. Because we're all God's creatures, and we should all treat each other with respect and love, including these women on here calling me names and defending sexual assault people. So just had a few thoughts, and this has updates on new entertaining comments here. Oh, okay, okay. This is good. See, now this at some point could have made me. I'm gonna tell you what this person wrote. Aggravate me, but now I'm finding stuff here. This person uh, not one to cast stones, right? I did leave them something there. I had to leave them a little line to pick at because if you could write a book, they'll pick out one line and call you every name in the book. To write a book about God and how great God is, say one thing in there that they disagree with, and that's it. So, except for this time. If no, scratch that. When God looks at your past and present, pression and lets that stone you cast isn't found, perhaps He is the very one of the vision. Blood of Jesus. So, unless you're into business determining whether a person has a repentant heart. Okay. So I guess I can go out and beat a woman, and as long as I repent for it, I should be forgiven, right? By society? No. That's what he's saying. He's saying that the gentleman that I called out for beating his wife and putting his kids, not laughing about that, but putting his, I'm laughing at the guy's comment here, putting his kids in harm's way and traumatizing them, that he should be forgiving as long as he has a penitent heart. But yes, we should all be forgiven. You know, Jesus forgives us all for our sins as long as we have a repentant heart. And I'm sure this guy that I called out here, that I'm not going to publicly, he's sorry for what he did, right? But that doesn't mean that that the community and the society as a whole should forgive you for beating your wife, right? Everyone should know that this guy beat his wife because he's out here having a visual for these kids who were traumatized for their daddy being shot. Okay, it is horrible, but you know, he should say, okay, I put my own kids in danger. I am sorry I did that. He should apologize to society, but he never has. And he never will because he's on the left. He never apologized. But he's basically saying that I can go out and do the same thing, beat my wife, traumatize my kids, but as long as I have a repentant heart, it's okay. No, it's not. It's not okay. So, and he goes on here. He's got another paragraph. I'm sure you thought hard about it. If you really want to make a difference, stop judging people based on pure ignorance and a privileged perspective. Okay, wrong words down there. And understand there are many causes, and all worthy if it's helping make the world a better place. Okay, so you know, you can be forgiven as long as you know say you have a repentant heart for beating your wife and putting your kids at risk. I mean, he ran from the law with his kids in the back of the car, unrestrained, without a seatbelt. I mean, oh my God. This is what gets me riled up. So here's another. You shoot until I'm not sure what this. You shoot until the perp stops moving. Only twice. 7, 10 times doesn't matter. Officer's job is to serve and protect themselves and innocent civilians. That includes you, Stephanie. Obey orders. Don't be a criminal, and you won't be shot. So that person had my back. A lot of times, what I've found when I say things that are contrary to what the popular notion is, then no one backs me up. They may think, you know, they will actually come to me or send me a message and say, hey, I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you having the guts to say that. But they won't publicly do that because they're afraid. That's one thing. In order for our society to get better, we have to call out hypocrisy. That's what I'm saying about this guy, this local advocate or BLM activist. He's a hypocrite. He put his own kids in danger, put them in the back of the car unrestrained, and then ran from the law. I mean, this is public knowledge. I'm not going to call him out because, as I said, I'm not trying to cast stones on the guy. But don't be a hypocrite. Don't say that the police are horrible and that they should be defunded, which is what he's been saying, and that they shouldn't have shot the guy with the kids in the car. They were trying to protect the kids too, because it could have went. They didn't know. They had a warrant for his arrest. Okay, they don't know the whole history of this guy or whether he's gonna put his own kids in danger. They don't know. Plus, it could have shot them. They don't know. The cops don't know every detail in the beginning of a case. They only know what they're there to do. They don't know every potential perspective. I have a background in criminal justice, but I was never a cop. I have disabilities, but they don't know everything at the time. and they don't know if this person. It's like when they pull somebody over. Okay, they could pull me over. I'm technically a white guy, and as I said, I'm not running from that. I'm not apologizing for it either. I'm pretty white. Uh, but they could pull me over, and I go, reaching into the dash. They don't know if I have a gun in the dash. If I don't say nothing, they don't know that what I'm gonna do. Just because I'm a white guy, don't mean I'm not crazy. They don't know. They don't know you. They need to understand that. You get pulled over. Put your hands. I don't care what color you are. Put your hands on the steering wheel. Now I carry my driver's license in my wallet, like most guys do. Women carry them in their purse. So cop walks up to the door and says, "Hello, officer. How you doing? You need to have your hands where he can see them, right? Because he doesn't know what you're about. He doesn't know. He might think I'm on drugs. He doesn't know. He doesn't know me. That's what people. He doesn't know you. He doesn't know your history. He doesn't know your past. He doesn't know. He doesn't. I mean, I could be a lawyer. He doesn't know. He doesn't know where I work. Um, you need to keep your hands on the steering wheel, and then he'll say driver's license in the United States, driver's license, insurance, and registration. Say, okay, my insurance and registration is in my glove box. May I reach over there, please? Sure, go ahead. And he'll watch you reach over there and out of your glove box and hand it to him. He's like, well, driver's license, please. Well, sir, those are in my wallet, which is in my front right pocket. May I reach for it, please? Because it doesn't matter why you're pulled over. You're pulled over, right? You run a stop sign on accident. And one time I got pulled over for I'd accidentally when I had a truck, I'd accidentally put some papers in the back of it, and he pulled me over for littering. It wasn't on purpose, and I explained that, but he doesn't. The cop, female, guy, whatever, they don't know what you're about. They don't know that you're on drugs. They don't know, and that's what more people need to understand. So he asked for, I said, "May I please reach for it? It's in my pocket." He'll say, "Sure, go ahead," and he'll watch you reach into your pocket and pull it out the whole time. Give him the driver's license. I'll be right back, and he'll go run the car and run your information and be like, okay, please don't run a stop sign again. They're just doing their job. They don't. They want to go home to their wives and whatever, or their boyfriends, girlfriends, or just go home, right? Just like you want to go home at night, they want to go home. They don't know your whole history. They need to understand. So please, don't matter what color you are, keep your hands where they can see them. That's all. That's the main. I wish more law enforcement offices, my local included, would do a video on Facebook and YouTube. Show the community, hey, this when we pull you over, we don't know who you are, we don't know what you're about, we don't know if you're on, know if you're, we don't know. We don't base things on color, right? We base things on your behavior. So please keep your hands on the steering wheel until far, and then ask us. May you reach for the information, and we are free people, right? But when you're being pulled over, you're not locked up, you're not arrested, but you are being respectful because they just want to go home at night. Really, I mean, there's some jerks out there. There's some bad cops, and they're getting rid of them. That's enough. There are some bad cops, but you can't. They're not all like that. They're not all harm you. They just want to go home. Believe me, these guys do not want to shoot nobody. Nobody. I mean, I don't want to. Nobody wants to shoot. Free. And especially cops. And when a white cop pulls over a black person, it's a big deal because they have to have a reason. You can't just pull over black people because black. I don't care what the left or Black Lives Matter tells you. You can't just pull over black people because you want to. You have to have a reason, and then they have to call for backup because they need they need somebody else there with a body cam show that they're not being racist, they're doing their job. This person ran a stop sign, or they have a tail light out, or whatever the deal is. Trust me, at this point in time, no black cop wants to pull over a black person. They have pulled me over 15 times before they pull over one because they don't want the trouble. Because it's a lot of trouble and a lot of freaking paperwork. Well, you pulled over 4 black people this month. Are you racist? You know, there's community activists that think this. The cop might have pulled over 400 white people, but because he pulled over 4 black people, they're going to ask him, "Are you racist?" So it's really insanity, right? They pull over people based, good cop, majority cops pull over people based on the offense. Then us running a stop sign, running a red light, or littering on accident, whatever the case is, they don't want to pull you over. It's their job. They'd rather ride around all day, trust me, and eat donuts. That's what I like. Ride around. But the deal is, cops aren't bad. They're doing their job. I guess I am done for this morning talk. I realized it was all over the place, but it was mainly about this goofy activist and his hypocrisy and the insanity of the left to defend the sexual assault, the guy charged with sexual assault, defending him. It's just the insanity of the left. I mean, they need to be on medication. Maybe they are. Maybe that's their problem. I'm not on medication. I'm not going on medication. I'm good. Life's good. So I also want to say grateful to the good Lord above, Jesus, that I don't have a brain tumor, that I don't have an aneurysm, that I don't have a blood clot, that my head's not going to explode anytime soon. Very grateful for that. I may be back later this afternoon if I'm really bored and talk about one subject. Maybe bored. Difficult. I get that. Needs to be talked about more than it. Maybe I'll have a video. Actually, I want your opinion. I am thinking about making a video public, making it like a campaign video just to drive the left. Because my name is Jefferson Davis, my real name. I'm gonna tell you my middle name. Making a campaign video that should be hilarious, that will drive anyway. This is Jefferson Davis. Find me as at Jefferson Davis everywhere on the interwebs, Twitter and Parler and all the other places. You can also find me, I'll post there very much on my website, www. You don't have to ask. It's a habit. www.jeffersondavis.us. You can also find Kilos of Crack at kilosofcrack.com. And that's our podcast. We've done one in quite a while, so I'm hoping to do one tomorrow. Hope the audio's been good. Give me a thumbs up or something if the audio's good, as good as it can be for a southern boy like me, But anyway, have a great afternoon, morning, whatever it is to you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. See you. Have a great day, and God bless. See you on the next one. Could be sooner than later or later than sooner. I don't. And try to do these as much as possible prior to the talk about. Have a great day. I swear I'm going this time. Have a great day. It's Jefferson Davis signing out. Good afternoon. Good morning. Whatever it is.